Now, listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World. And here we go.
Everybody here. Everybody here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody. Showtime.
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
Good afternoon, 6 minutes after 4 o'clock on the 7th day of June in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Hour number 2, phone lines are open, 515-244-0077 if you've got something on your mind that you want to share. I'm going to introduce you to a real interesting young man by the name of Jim Whitmer. And Jim, among other things, is a private detective, a bodyguard. And he also, I'm going to make sure I get this right. You will be the one who will cast the winning vote.
Yep.
The electoral vote.
Yep.
From District 1.
Yep.
But it'll be for...
the president.
Right, but for Iowa or everything?
No. Okay, now, you probably understand this, Mac, but most people don't. The president is not elected by popular vote, as we know from 2000 with Al Gore and Bush, okay? Each state has a series of electoral votes to the Electoral College. You get one for each senator, and you get one for each congressional representative. So Iowa has 6. The first district, which I'm from Waterloo, we get one electoral vote. And I am a Republican, and my wife and I went to the Republican committee thing, and they elected the person to cast the electoral vote. We had to give a 1-minute speech. I got up there and I said, there's an old saying, if you're 20 and you're not a liberal, you don't have a heart. If you're 40 and you're not a conservative, you don't have a brain. I said, I have a heart and a brain. I said, let me tell you about my political views. I am very pro-life. I am very pro-Israel. And I'm a very strong supporter of the Article 2 of the Bill of Rights, which is the Second Amendment. And I said, if you elect me, you get a bonus. You get 3 for 1. You get Smith and Wesson and me. I got more votes than everybody else combined. But anyway, after the election is over in December, assuming the Republican wins Iowa, which I pray he will, I will go and I will cast an electoral vote. There are 438 electoral votes. The president has to get 270 of them. And I am hoping and praying that I get to cast the deciding one.
You think it'll be that close?
I don't have any idea, but I'm just hoping it is.
Okay, so you can say you cast the deciding vote.
Absolutely.
For the President of the United States. That'd be fun.
That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Tom, have you ever done that?
Oh, no, Mac. And I appreciated his little takeoff on the Winston Churchill saying that when a man is, I have it up on my wall at the office, so I know about this one. When a man is young and has a heart, he can be forgiven for being liberal. But when he is older and is not conservative, it means he has either no money or no brains. That's the quote, and I appreciate you doing the takeoff.
My favorite Winston Churchill quote, he was talking about the reserve that Great Britain needed to have to stand up to the Nazis. He said, never, 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 never give in. That's my favorite Winnie quote.
He needed that kind of determination to hang in there during World War II.
Yes, he did.
No, and I have a lot of respect for Winston Churchill. I read some of the books about him. I had an opportunity, Mac, maybe you knew this, back in 1998 to spend some time with Dr. James Dobson, focus on the family.
Yeah, you interviewed him.
I testified in front of his committee at Caesar's Palace in the fall of 98 with thousands of casino employees booing me and booing him.
Yeah.
And the next week I went out and I was one of the guests on his radio show, which was a national. You used to listen to Focus on the Family.
Right.
And he had a big picture of Winston Churchill up on his wall.
Yeah, we have Focus on the Family on this radio station every day.
And anyway, he said that Winston Churchill was one of his personal favorites, his heroes, and his board had actually spent $3,000 to personally gift him this picture of Winston Churchill.
Wow.
So he had a lot of respect for Churchill.
I liked
as well.
Winnie.
You were on first name basis, and Winnie?
Oh, yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Okay. The way you said that, I just figured you were. Frank's old enough to do that.
Yeah. You do realize that Winnie kicked FDR screaming and kicking into World War II.
I know.
Because FDR did not want to go in, and sadly, Churchill was a better leader in that case than our own president.
Okay.
All right, Tom, I want to talk to you. I need to get your thoughts on this Senator David Johnson from Northwest Iowa.
Good man. He's on our committee. Chris is on the Iowa Prayer Breakfast Committee. We were honored to have him join us this last year, and Senator Johnson was our chair this last year.
Okay. Well, are you aware of what he's done?
No.
He has suspended his Republican Party membership to protest, quote unquote, the racist remarks and judicial jihad by Donald Trump.
I did not know that.
Now, maybe between Jim and Tom, you might know, what happens with that when you resign from your Republican Party and you're elected as a Republican?
Well, we've seen it done on a national basis, Mac. They become an independent.
Okay.
And they'll continue to serve. But come the primary, now the likelihood is that David could well have both a Democrat and a Republican opponent if he seeks re-election, which makes it a little more complicated, a three-way race.
Do you think the timing on this being the election day for primary is a little suspicious?
I think it's odd, but I have a lot of respect for David. I've known him for some years. He is a good guy. I don't necessarily agree with his take on this, and we can talk about it. I think the judge should have been questioned on other areas rather than his ethnicity. I think this coming out now that his associations from his legal group,
La Raza.
It comes back around and then ties back into other groups that have sought to boycott Donald Trump and Donald Trump's companies and his organizations. He's an Obama appointee, federal judge. The group that he is associated with has supported, had Hillary Clinton in as a speaker, and actually has given money. When she was a speaker, they gave her six figures, which is, the typical going rate for one of the Clintons to come in and cough and hack and walk around for 10, 15 minutes. And then you've got, they've actually given money directly to her campaign. So I think what he should have done, Mac, is to have raised the issue. Yes, he's a Mexican, but that's not my core issue.
Correct.
The core issue is his affiliations with groups that are openly opposed to me. I think that would have been a much better way to go about it. I think it's unfortunate. Paul Ryan's come out today and threatening to rescind his endorsement, calls it, textbook racism. Trump is his own worst enemy at times, but I think he mischaracterized his opposition to this judge, which should have been done on ideological grounds rather than ethnicity. What do you think, Frank?
Yes, he could have been more tactful. He could have let his surrogates, he's letting his surrogates give the government speak to it, the political speak to it. He's just letting it fly, But I did want to mention that you did realize that those speeches that Hillary gave to Wall Street that were so vastly interesting that Bernie wants the transcripts released is the reason they paid her $250,000 plus a speech was so that they could hear the inside scuttlebutt on how they killed bin Laden. That was her excuse for getting paid $250,000 a whack.
515-244-0077. That's the studio line if you'd like to call in. Otherwise, you can text us at the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. Now, one of my guests today is Jim Whitmer. Jim came in from Waterloo to sit in with us today. Thank you for doing that, Jim.
Sure.
And you have kind of an interesting job. I don't think I've ever met a real PI.
Okay, now let me ask you, why? Okay, now I don't tell people I'm a PI unless they ask. And when I do, I always get this wide-eyed look and they say, oh, that sounds so exciting. Why did you say it's interesting?
Because I used to watch, what was that TV?
Rockford Files, Magnum PI,
Barnabas Jones,
Mannix, and okay. You know what they did? They got into high-speed car chases in really cool cars, okay? I have a Ford Crown Vic, okay? They got into gunfights, and they had affairs with their clients, okay? I have never done any of those things, okay? Tell me if you think this sounds exciting. Okay, now I have, in 21 years as a PI, I've done everything you can imagine, and a lot you probably can, okay? But my specialty is surveillance, which is following people around.
Right.
Okay, Mac, tell me if you think this sounds exciting. In one 24-hour period, I once spent 18 hours watching somebody. 98% of that, I was not moving. I was sitting in my car waiting for them to move. Does that sound exciting?
I'd have to say no, probably.
It wasn't. It was kind of profitable, but I
wasn't that exciting.
No, it wasn't exciting.
Have you ever been shot?
No.
Been shot at?
No.
Have you ever shot somebody?
No.
Okay.
Now, do you spend?
You would have said yes on the last one. I was going to swear us all to secrecy.
Okay, all right.
Now, do you spend a lot of your time surveilling potential cheating spouses?
I've probably done more of that than any other type. Most PIs would probably say that. I have done. Okay,
Really?
let me just tell you. I have done that type of stuff. I've done child custody. I've done fraud. I've done work comp. I have located people. I have served papers on people. I've done bodyguard work. That's my favorite thing to do. I've done, if there's a type of investigation, I've done it at some point.
Now, you know what? Jim Rockford always got paid his fees.
$200 a day plus expenses.
$200 a day in expenses.
Yeah. And I have had people call me and say, don't you have a per day fee? It's like, no, that was Jim Rockford 40 years ago. We don't quite do it that way anymore. Okay.
Jim Whitmer is my guest. He's a PI and a bodyguard, and he's also he may cast the winning vote in the Electoral College in December for our next president. Tom Coates is always in the house. I want to talk about this La Raza thing because I'm getting two different opinions on this, and you started it a little bit ago. I want to talk about it a little bit more. We'll do that when we come back live here on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
4:21, 21 minutes after 4 o'clock, 7th day of June in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Man, it was great to have James Weiss on yesterday. Bob, you were just salivating. You really like what these guys have, don't you?
Yes, because it's an area that I really don't know enough about.
And you're at that age where retirement's here.
It makes a difference what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, I found it interesting that the way you apply for Social Security can vastly change the amount of money you get out of your own Social Security account.
Absolutely. And I'm old enough that I can benefit. My wife's older than me, so when she takes it, I can get half of hers when I turn 66 and defer. So that's still here, but for people that are younger, like Frank and you, I don't know how old Tom is. You guys don't qualify. So that's a good thing, but you have to know what the deal is.
Well, and that's to find out, you need to call the folks over at Weiss Merkel Financial, 278-4110. Their next big empowerment college is coming up this Thursday. So make sure you check. No, next Wednesday. Yeah.
Like the top 40 hits guy, Casey Kasem, Tom Coates never ages.
That's true.
I wish that were true, Frank. I can see my commercials from 20 years ago, and I know that's not true.
All right, so Senator David Johnson, you just found out for the first time here that he has suspended, he hasn't threatened to, he has suspended his Republican Party membership to protest the racist remarks and judicial jihad, that's a quote unquote from Trump, about presumptive GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump. What can he do? I mean, is this just like saying I'm not going to drink any water for 24 hours so I can protest?
David is a really smart and considered guy. He's not just popping off without thinking this through. So he's got to have he must think this is a way to draw attention to some concerns that he has, whether it's about just this area, I doubt. It's probably about some other areas of what Trump is saying. I haven't talked to him. Again, you're the one that told me about this. If we were having our meetings now, I would certainly try to get his perspective. But I could just tell you that he is a good guy. He's doing it to draw some attention to some issues that he must think are worthwhile. I don't think it's self-serving. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy to me. I think he's trying to draw some legitimate attention to it, even though at the outset I would not agree with him doing it. Yes, Frank?
Would you know the answer to that by the end of the day? Do you have his number? Do you have his number where you could ask him?
I could.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
I could, and if you wanted to, we could see about trying to get him on the show to talk about it, Mac. Would you want to try that sometime?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
He urged U.S. House Speaker Paul Ryan and U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, as well as members of the Iowa congressional delegation, to immediately withdraw their support for Donald Trump.
Okay.
Getting messy out there. 515-244-0077. That's the studio line, or you can call us, or not call us, text us on the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. Jim Whitmer is a guest of mine today. He's a He's a PI. He's a PI from Waterloo. And
I like pie.
Yeah, I know you do.
I know.
Jill, she's in charge of pie on Tuesdays.
All right, Jill, I like gooseberry is my favorite. Okay. Oh, it's good. Oh.
You asked him a question about electronic surveillance.
I did. I asked Jim a question off air, and he said, ask me on air, and he's right. The question that I asked him, I said, with today's world, You said, it used to be Rockford, decades ago, charged $200 plus expenses, and it's different today. I imagine the biggest difference that you've seen, I don't know how long you've been in your profession, but is the technological changes that we have seen. Tell us about that, Jim.
Well, first of all, I've owned my business since 1985. I started it when I was 20 years old, so I'm 31. When I started it, it was just a security company. The bulk of what we do is corporate security guard services to businesses. And we also provide armed bodyguard services, usually to abused women. And I've had some God put me there experiences with that. And in 1995, I became a private investigator. And it has changed radically in the 20 years I've been a PI. It used to be a PI, when he wanted information, had to go to a courthouse and dig through dusty old record books. And we still do that. But now, obviously, everything is available online. I can go online, and within 1 minute, I could do it quicker if I could type with more than two fingers, okay? I could take your name. I could get your full name, your date of birth, your address, everybody associated with that address. I could get your landline and your cell phone. I could get your complete criminal record, any information as to any lawsuits you've been in as a plaintiff or a defendant. I could get all of the information on every vehicle you own, make, model, license plate number, and, now this is the scary part, I can get your complete social security number.
That is disturbing.
Yes. Now, okay, the vehicle information, at least in Iowa.
Maybe don't tell the audience on how to do that.
Oh no, I can't. No. Okay, just listen. The vehicle information, at least in Iowa, is something that only law enforcement or private investigator can get, as is the social security number. Now, I am a member of certain sites that, because I am a licensed, and that's the key, licensed private investigator, I can get that information. Okay. Now, I cannot, by law, pass on to my client your social security number. Okay, so if I get a report, I redact that from it. But I can get all that information. It is scary, the amount of information that you can get.
I'll bet it is. Jim. And so I would suspect if you revealed information that you shouldn't have, there are some repercussions back to you.
Absolutely, I could get arrested.
Either civil or criminal.
Absolutely, I could get arrested. I could get sued.
Okay, good. Mac, this is a scenario that we haven't delved into. This is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Internet security?
Well, no, I'm just talking about being a private eye, being a bodyguard. Now, you work by yourself, or do you have a network that you work with for bigger jobs?
No. Well, in my security company, I have a bunch of employees, okay? But and in the bodyguard, I'm pretty much the only one that does that.
Okay.
And I'm the only private investigator in my force.
What would a bodyguard cost on a daily basis
Now when somebody calls me, most of the time that's the first question they ask, and I understand they don't have any idea. And what I tell them is, I tell them that I will be glad to reveal what my rate structure is, but I would only reveal that in a face-to-face meeting. Now, there is absolutely no charge for the meeting, okay? It's just a chance for us to get to know each other, for them to explain to me what it is they want me to do, and for me to decide whether I can help them or whether I want to help them. And honestly, sometimes I can't and I don't want to.
Okay.
And then I explain to them what I do and how I do it, and I explain what my rate structure is in the meeting. And then we both take it from there.
If I had a celebrity or a high-profile politician coming that wouldn't necessarily have Secret Service coverage but needed some bodyguard coverage, give me a ballpark on what that kind of thing would cost.
What? It's going to depend. Okay, I've had bodyguard assignments last a few hours. I did one a couple of months ago. I spent 203 straight hours with a woman. I'm sleeping at her house, obviously, in another room. I'm a happily married man. There's my ring. Okay. But I moved in with her. I have an hourly charge that I charge for that. Now, on the investigative side, I do tell people on that, once again, I don't explain what my rate structure is outside of the meeting, but I tell them I'm going to need a retainer. Okay, PIs are just like attorneys. You're going to need a retainer. That's probably going to be about $1,000. Now, in some cases, I will accept less. In some cases, I will accept more. But it's probably going to be about that range. And every PI you're going to call is going to tell you the same thing. They're going to need a retainer.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. All right. Well, Mac, I'm learning things about this. I have not, fortunately,
I thought you'd
had an opportunity to employ a bodyguard or a private detective.
Well, now, okay, here's the deal. My bodyguard work all of my clients are women. Okay, because guys, we're tough. Nobody's going to hurt us. Okay.
Well, what about a male celebrity coming to town?
Okay, actually, my first one. Now, I don't know if I should bring this guy's name up. Okay, in 1985, when I was first starting, does anybody remember Mike Warnke?
Yeah.
Okay, the Satanist high priest. I was his bodyguard in several different locations throughout Iowa. So I did do that, and I also actually 4 years ago, when Michelle Bachmann was running for president, I was her bodyguard when she came to Waterloo. But most of the time for the bodyguard work, it is women who are afraid that somebody's going to kill them. Usually it's a domestic partner. And it's been very interesting because I have had a number of what I can only call God put me there experiences with them. Okay, I am a born-again Christian, okay? And there have been times I know God put me there because they needed me. And I have never had to get in a fight. I have never had to pull a gun on anybody. I am prepared, okay? I am heavily armed when I'm doing this. I am very skilled with my weapons. But most of the time, just the fact that they have someone there with this capability is enough. And I hope to God I never have to shoot anybody. But I know how.
I was wondering.
So does Tom.
Yeah, I was wondering who licensed you.
Okay, good question. The Department of Public Safety out of Des Moines. They license both private investigators and security companies, and also they license bounty hunters. Now, there's hardly any in Iowa. From what I understand, the insurance is prohibitively expensive, but they also license that, and I don't do that.
So do they do a background check then?
Yep.
The DCI?
Yep. No. Department of Public Safety.
So somebody does it for the Department of Public Safety.
Yep.
So are most gentlemen in the profession ex-police officers?
You say gentlemen. There's a lot of women that do it, too.
Sure, but...
a lot of them do. They retire from law enforcement and come into this. I didn't. I actually took police science, and halfway through I started my business, so I never pursued it. But there's a lot of people that come in from law enforcement and do it.
And so is this licensing something that has to be kept up yearly? Or?
Yeah, it's a 2-year license.
Okay, I see.
Our guest today is Jim Whitmer. Jim is a private investigator out of the city of Waterloo. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
My phone number, and by the way, this is answered 24 hours a day by a person. You will never get a recording, is 319-234-6680. 319-234-6680. And if you call right now, my answering service will put the call through to me. I will not answer it because I'm on the air.
Well, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Tom Coates is also in the house today, and we've been talking a little bit about this La Raza thing, and we've got two strong opinions that vary. We got Jay Seklow, who's on our station from 11 to 11:30,
and you and I have spent some time personally with Jay.
Yes,
and have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, and but you heard him say that he does not think he thinks that this La Raza thing that Trump is talking about is misinformed.
Yes, I can't quote him exactly, but he said that it wasn't the case.
And then we hear from in other ways that here's a report from the Daily Caller. He revealed that he was a member of La Raza Lawyers of San Diego during a questionnaire before his appointment as a federal judge in 2011.
Yeah, Mac, I think some of the confusion that comes in on this, as I understand it, is that La Raza, that has gotten with most of us, such a bad reputation, deservedly so, the activist group for open borders and so on and so forth, is different than the La Raza legal group that they're talking about, although there are some cross-affiliations. And so, again, as I understand it today, what I was doing some digging on it, some of the counter-affiliations, cross-affiliations that this judge has. And again, the judge is an Obama appointee, presumably a Democrat, but those groups are the ones that have petitioned to boycott Donald Trump and done other things that should disqualify the judge because of his associations.
We'll talk about it more, including a new book coming out about Hillary Clinton. Do we have the dirt? Do we have what it takes? We'll talk about it next on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
4:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Hank the Bible Answer Man. You can call him now, 1-888-ASK-HANK, and get your question in on his national show.
Oh, I had one follow-up question with Tom, if you know. There was some speculation, and I asked this yesterday, and Chris chimed in on it, wasn't sure. Was the parents of this judge is obviously a citizen. Was his parents illegal immigrants?
I have heard, I haven't done the research on this, Frank, I've heard that they were legal immigrants.
Oh, okay.
And that he was born in this country as a second generation immigrant. So my information, such that it is that they were legal.
Okay.
So.
All right, let's talk about this book. There is a book coming out. This is not an internet rumor. This is not a funny post put up by some jarhead who's trying to mix things up. This is actually one of Hillary Clinton's bodyguards, CIA, who has come out and written a book about her, and that book hits Amazon in about a month?
Later this month, I think June 28th is what I saw. Crisis of Character. And the author's name is a former Secret Service agent. His name's Gary Byrne, Byrne. Crisis of Character, and it purports to tell that, and keep in mind, he's a former military guy and was Secret Service for many years. Obviously, he's retired now, but he was posted for years outside the Oval Office of when Bill Clinton was in there, and has some. Frank, have you seen much on this?
I don't think this is a real new story, because I think I've heard about these type of Secret Service things And not only that, but the military people who were stationed around the White House, that she had total disregard.
It affirms much of what we said.
Yes.
But this particular book, obviously, he has some unique perspectives, Mac, on Bill. He said at one point he walked into the Oval Office and Bill Clinton and a woman who was not Monica were having sex there in the Oval Office, and he happened to walk in on them. And on another occasion, he removed a towel with both lipstick and the stuff they found on Monica's dress from Bill on the towel. So he was there, but his bigger revelations come in, and Jim, you might appreciate this, because the Secret Service actually had discussions amongst themselves on how they would handle a violent Hillary with Bill.
Yes, I heard a story that, and this was while the Clintons were president, okay, that she got mad at him, and I think she threw a lamp at him.
Vase, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And that was the altercation. He came out with a obviously blackened eye.
Well, I hadn't heard that, but the story that I heard, I think I heard this on Rush Limbaugh.
Well, it may have been more than one occasion. She did this on more than one occasion.
But that they burst into the room, and they said, "Ma'am, our job is to protect him, including from you."
Yeah.
And I had heard something recently about some other Secret Service agent that he was there in the morning and Hillary got up and he said, "Good morning, Mrs. Clinton," and she basically cursed at him. You know, I mean, this is just a not nice woman, okay? And I do not understand why people think she want her to be president.
Well, and you go back to Vince Foster was brought up recently, Jim and guys.
Yes.
And the reports are that she and Vince Foster had an ongoing relationship, and that the state troopers reported driving them on up on different occasions to the Rose Law Firm where they were partners. They had a cabin up in the woods, and they spent weekends occasionally up in the cabin up in the woods. But she dressed him down so violently in a staff meeting, humiliated him, called him a small-town hack, you know, as far as a lawyer, that associates said kind of drove him into this state of depression that may have led to his suicide. Again, you can see where he would be damaged because it was a woman he had a very close relationship for some time. But in this book, it talks about the White House staff, the Secret Service, and Bill Clinton himself were terrified of the Jekyll and Hyde. That's the way it's described, the Jekyll and Hyde personality of Hillary Clinton.
Now, I had heard this, and again, this was a long time ago. This was, 20 years ago, okay? I had heard that there was speculation that Vince Foster was murdered.
Well, there are so many unanswered questions, and you as a PI would be interested in some of this. For instance, just one minor thing, but it's a big deal. He had all sorts of carpet fibers on his clothing.
Yes.
There were people that reported seeing people walk into the Fort Marcy Park with a rolled up carpet with something in it. His shoes, when they examined them, did not have any of the underbrush that it would have had, because the news people came and later figured that much out. When you walked that far into the park, you had to have something on your shoes. He had none of it. There's all sorts of other things. The gun itself that they found, the family said wasn't his gun. He only had one handgun, and it wasn't his. It came from parts of two different guns.
And didn't they not recover the bullet, if I remember correctly?
They did not recover the bullet.
Okay.
There's all sorts of, you would be interested, all sorts of unanswered questions. It may have been a suicide, but the point was that he didn't commit it where his body was found.
Exactly. Oh, sure.
And his office was locked off.
Yeah.
They cleaned it. They would not let authorities in until they took everything out of his office that they found incriminating, because the story was he was in charge of the Clinton cash that was being taken care of outside the official channels, including the Swiss bank account. So,
did you ever hear the supposed story that Vince Foster was in on the deal where Clinton was taking blood reluctantly from the Arkansas Penal Institute inmates and was selling it to Canada? And supposedly some of this blood that was taken illegally from the penal people in the prisons was tainted with the AIDS virus, and this scandal was going to blow and hit the news media, and this is supposedly accredited to about the time that Vince Foster committed suicide.
Okay, taking blood for what?
For plasma.
Okay, I know. I had never heard that.
They was taking plasma and selling the plasma to Canada, which would have been out of the country, and some people up in Canada end up with the AIDS virus, HIV, because of the tainted blood. And this scandal was about to hit the media. Now, I don't know.
No, I can talk Whitewater. I can talk cattle trading futures with Tyson Foods. But this is something that I cannot talk about. I know nothing about it, Mac. I would say it's not outside the character.
Well,
of these
supposedly
people.
this is according to Jennifer Flowers. So
okay, there we go. Oh, well, this once again one of Bill Clinton's references. Okay,
At least she was a willing reference at that point. You got others that weren't so willing.
Absolutely.
That Bill Clinton took advantage of. And I could argue that Monica Lewinsky, as a 19-year-old intern, should not have been fair game either. But anyway, go ahead, Mac.
We are live on the radio this afternoon in Mac's World, 4:46, 14 before the top. Hank, the Bible Answer Man, at the top of the hour after Salem Radio Network News. Make sure that you want to get in and ask him a question on his worldwide national live show. It's 1-888-ASK-HANK, 1-888-ASK-HANK.
What are you doing? I was just laughing to myself that you was keeping the zoo animals all organized today.
Yeah, today.
So you're calling me a zoo animal?
You're all zoo animals.
Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm cuter than a bug's ear. Come on.
That's right.
Okay.
This is this format in talk radio is called a zoo format.
Oh, okay.
And it's where the host, me, is not the most important thing.
Okay, well, see, I was in radio from 1987 to 1990, and it was just me. By the way, I just got to tell you this. I proposed to my wife on the air.
Oh.
She said yes, by the way.
Good.
Okay. All right, yes.
Good. So where was she?
She was sitting right next to me.
Oh, you just did it on the radio.
She was horribly embarrassed when I did it, but she said yes.
Yeah? Okay. All right. She's out in the lobby, right?
She is. She doesn't want to be in here because, she's okay.
Well, it's kind of like doing it at a ball game where they flash you up on the big jumbotron and you propose right there in front of 50,000 people, right?
Well, I hadn't thought about that. And, in Waterloo, we have this very tiny little baseball stadium, and so that wouldn't have worked.
All right, so Gary Byrne is the ex-CIA agent in the White House under the Clinton administration. He's got a book coming out called what?
Crisis of Character, I think was the name of it, if I recall.
And the pundits are saying this guy's talking truth. Now, of course, not the pundits on the left, but the pundits on the right. We'll hear more about that book and maybe how you can get a chance to pick up an advance copy. That's coming up next live here on The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
10 minutes for the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Hank, the Bible Answer Man, at 1-888-ASK-HANK. Call up and get your question on worldwide broadcast. So this story coming out, a gentleman by the name of Gary Brine, B-R-Y-N-E.
Byrne, I think.
Byrne.
It's B-Y-R-N-E. Okay, Byrne. Feel the burn. Gary Byrne, who was posted outside the Oval Office when Bill Clinton was president, portrays Hillary as an erratic, uncontrollable, and occasionally violent, much too much to become the leader of the free world. This according to an advanced promotions material obtained by this story. The allegations from Byrne, a 29-year veteran in the military and federal law enforcement, threatens to derail her campaign days before she is expected to clinch the Democratic presidential nominee. How? There is nobody out there voting for Hillary Clinton that cares about this.
Well,
anybody who does care about it was never going to vote for Hillary Clinton anyway.
Well, I think that's fair with our generation. I think that's fair because our generation has heard these stories. Jim mentioned them. Everybody in this room's heard some of the stories. I think the question is, and I think the answer is that the millennials, the younger generation, are not familiar with Bill's escapades. They are not familiar with anything to do with Vince Foster. They don't know who Vince Foster was. They don't know any of the scandals we're talking about, Whitewater, the cattle trading futures. They do not know about Hillary Clinton and the fact that she headed up the bimbo eruptions when Bill had his dozens of women, some of them voluntarily, some of them involuntarily, like Juanita Broderick. Juanita said that Hillary came to her on the heels of that, grabbed her by the hand in a corner at a public function, looked at her very intently and said, "We know what you've done for Bill in the past, and we know you're going to continue to do that in the future." And she said there was no mistaking. This was a threat. I was supposed to stay shut up. And if I leaked anything about it, then they would be coming after me. Yeah, Frank.
I was going to tell you, because I don't think you've been here since, and if you heard me say it on air one day, I know it will interest you. But you know who Doug Schoen is. Mm-hmm. You, Clinton advisor, pollster. Well, Doug Schoen. Mm-hmm. He said this IG report is a very, very serious matter. And he says in Democratic circles, the drumbeat is getting louder and louder for Biden-Warren.
Yep. And, you know, Frank, I sat in the studio last year with some of our guests like Steve Scheffler and made wagers with them, gentlemen wagers,
yeah, I remember.
that eventually Hillary would not be the one, that it would be Biden. Or somebody like that, a John Kerry. Elizabeth Warren would be thrown on the ticket to try to pacify the Bernie younger people that are more radical than the average Democrat.
But let's not underestimate this story, how it will play amongst the anti-Hillary camp in the Bernie camp.
Yes.
Okay, now let me just throw something in here, okay? You know, we're talking about the millennials, and that's the people born after the turn of the century, right? Okay. These people...
Well, no, I mean, not.
Okay.
We're talking
anyway,
about... Yeah, but the younger generation.
These people are God's children, and he loves them, and I do too, okay? But the younger generation knows nothing about politics. I have a perfect example of this. Do you guys remember Occupy Wall Street?
Yes, of course.
Okay. These were the people that were going to change the world. They knew more than everybody else, okay? This was, 4 or 5 years ago. They were coming to Cedar Falls. And the newspaper, the TV said there's going to be 10,000 people there, okay? I told my wife, I want to go. Now, I'm a troublemaker, okay? I am, okay? We went up there. It was in the park across the street from the police station. There were 6 people there. They were college kids. I had one reason I wanted to go. I told you I'm a troublemaker. I walked up and said, hey, what's going on here? Oh, it's Occupy Wall Street. We know more than everybody else. We're going to change the world. We know more about politics and everything than all these people. I said, cool. I said, I just have one question for you. Okay. I said, can you tell me the name of the person who represents you in Congress?
Yeah, I know you do. One of those man on the street deals, right?
The guy laughed. He goes, I have no idea. I go, thank you. It was, by the way, Bruce Braley at that time. Game, set, match. These are the people
were you
that
saying,
know everything, and they don't even know who represents them in Congress.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell us that Bruce Bailey was out in the park.
No, Bruce wasn't there. No. But these are the people. These are the people that know more about government than everybody, but they did not even know who represents them. So you know what that means?
Yeah.
They don't vote.
The Black Lives Matter protesters at the Trump rallies can't even articulate what they're protesting about.
Absolutely.
No, we know that. And see the Occupy Wall Street, which I'm familiar with like you are, Jim, and I... In fact, Bradshaw was part of that Occupy Wall Street.
Ed Fallon.
Yeah. But this was a contrived movement from the top. They were paying some of the leaders, like they're paying the Black Lives Matter group now, to organize and to try to offset, which was a grassroots group, the conservative Tea Party that was rising up. This was George Soros funded that, just like he's funding Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
And you're right. The rank and file don't know what they're protesting now. They were just told to get after them.
Well, it was the 99% whole thing was orchestrated by the Democrats to run against Mitt Romney as an out-of-touch rich guy. Trump's not going to fall for that because he's embracing his wealth. But they said this Black Lives Matter thing was to run against any generic Republican out there eventually. Now, it just happens to resonate more with Trump because he gets accused more of being a racist. But it would have come against Cruz. It would have come against any one of the GOP nominees, even Ben Carson.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Ben Carson would have been a raving racist.
Absolutely. You're exactly right, Frank. Can't argue with that.
As Herman Cain would have been also at the time.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say here is kind of what we started talking about at the beginning of this hour. From where we stand, they look very different, these two animals, this donkey and this elephant, and they look as if they're opposing each other. The fact of the matter is, behind the curtain with the big and powerful Oz, they want the same thing. They want their paychecks to keep coming in. They want their expenses paid. They want their retirement all taken care of, and they really don't care who sits in the White House. This is why Donald Trump has got them so scared.
Right.
Because he will call them on this.
Yeah, we believe that. And that's why Bernie, he could win California hands down. All those superdelegates are not coming over to his side. He's not going to be their nominee. I agree with Frank. I think the possibility, I don't know about probability, but possibility is that she might become such a liability in so many ways that they go ahead and take the Justice Department trigger, let that go and let the FBI do what they want to do, which is to indict her. Yeah. The FBI wants to indict her. They're being restrained right now by the Justice Department, and that's Obama. And if he changes his mind, then look out.
We're running out of time.
Well, it is my personal belief that Obama does not like the Clintons, and the Clintons don't like Obama.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
Okay? And I think probably Obama is being restrained by the party. Let's just face it. He is our president, and I pray for him every day, just like the Bible tells me to. And he is the president. But this guy is not the sharpest tack in the drawer, okay? He just isn't, okay? I think that he needs to be told everything to do.
By Michelle?
Yeah. And the leadership of the party is telling him what to do.
Guys, it's been fun, but we're out of time, up against a hard break. Jim, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. You come back anytime. Tom, we'll see you next Tuesday. Okay. You two yahoos, we'll see you tomorrow with Pastor Ryan Jorgensen here live in Mac's World. Thanks for listening.